All right, then let's go. Alicia and Reenie here, out for a walk. Reenie is my little best dog friend. She is a scruffy terrier schnauzer mix. This is Sustainable Events Dog Walk, a short podcast from Positive Impact Event Consulting, where you can get a quick nugget about sustainability for your events and event business while on a walk with Alicia and her dog Reenie. Sustainability is a big project, but we'll get there together, one little step at a time. On this week's episode, I would love to tell you a bit about my certification, what goes into it, what it has to do with the work that I'm doing, whether or not you should consider getting it, and cover a bit more about the education process behind what I've been telling you and how the event industry is looking at sustainability at the moment. Come on. So my certification is the Sustainable Event Professional Certification through Events Industry Council, SEPC. It is not a super expensive course and is highly recommended as the basis if you are going to try to get any sort of international recognitions for sustainability for your company. I originally went in and got certified through Events Industry Council with this certification out of my own curiosity, and it was the information that I learned that compelled me to share it with you, bring out this information, combine it with the other knowledge in my mind. It was basically the bouncing off point for all of the information that I've shared with you. And the Sustainable Event Professional Certification is a combined effort course built by event professionals from around the world, and they structured it along the lines of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, just like I do. I came up with my 4 pillars independently based on how I processed and understood that information, but the course itself is a 16-module course. You go through lots of videos and quizzes and, just like any other certification course. And in the process, you can get 12 continuing ed credits toward your CMP or your CAE. It's an online-only course provided directly through Events Industry Council, and includes as part of your requirements certain test qualifications. You have to pass the certain quizzes and tests in the modules, as well as a final project of sorts where you basically submit a short capstone encapsulating what you've learned and talking about your own perspective and how you're using it yourself, and basically proving that you've been critically applying the knowledge you've been learning. And the course is self-paced and has a lot of time booked in for you to be able to work on it and get it done within the mandatory time frame. And just for your own exposure, on top of searching up SEPC from EIC, the participant learning outcomes that they are aiming for are to understand how to communicate the business value of sustainable events, including improving brand reputation and cost savings, learning how to design event elements to be more environmentally responsible and socially impactful, learning how to develop effective community service projects that support organizational objectives, and learning about international sustainable event standards and measurements and reporting methodologies that can provide guidance in implementing future sustainable events. So it's very big picture, but it is really looking at all of the UN Sustainable Development Goals across the spectrum. And naturally, what you've heard in every episode of the podcast is what I took from that is my own understanding of the UN Sustainable Development Goals and what's important from the perspective of events with sustainability. And I broke it down into the 4 pillars of environmental sustainability, social and community sustainability, personal health and well-being sustainability, and economic sustainability, and looking at how the umbrella that is sustainability incorporates all of those elements in order to be successful and to be effective. Now, naturally, I have 15 plus years of experience in different types of organizations and companies and running my own businesses and living in different parts of the world that I apply to make this information useful to you and to package it in a way that I'm hoping you identify with and can feel is implementable and useful. And just like I do with this podcast, the SEPC course pitches the information across the spectrum of the events industry. So ranging from service providers and planners to hotels and destinations, looking at international projects, local projects, all the different types of ways that we make events. They tried to do their best to hit on things that pertain to all of those areas to make sure that it is as helpful to everyone as possible, and so that the knowledge is as transferable as possible. And I want to be clear, I'm not marketing on behalf of Events Industry Council. This is not sponsored content. I just want you to have some perspective on where my knowledge base is coming from, what my certification is, and potentially, even though I have some real professional doubts in whether it will cut into my bottom line, give you the information to decide whether you want to get the certification for yourself or have a member of your team do it. And basically, from my perspective, if your team has the budget to be doing this level of education, at least one of your team members, if not everyone with decision-making power, should be going through this course as soon as you can afford it, both in time and in finances. And that probably will undercut me somewhat, but I apply secondary knowledge in addition for my services. So hopefully it works out all right. Now, I mentioned at the top that one of the elements of this certification is that it's a top line recommendation that a team member be certified as part of the Events Industry Council International Sustainability Recognition Scale if you were to apply to be certified as a business instead of as an individual. And obviously that's to their advantage to be incentivizing people to take their course, but it also is such a great broad spectrum of information that hopefully people are taking them up on it. It really is the sort of course that could not detract from your team members' qualifications. There's no downside to taking it. It is a very broad picture that might be very illuminating compared to what you normally do, or poke some holes in some things that you've never looked at before. So I highly recommend that you poke around, see what you think, get an idea of what the SEPC is all about for yourself and your team, just to have that knowledge. And I'm not saying that it's better or worse compared to anyone else's certification. I'm still working on those for myself, but scout it out, see what you think. And now you've got a better idea of where my base of knowledge is coming from and what system taught me how to learn about this stuff and where to seek out information. If you want to skip the line and get straight to my own knowledge, I would love to consult with you or do a training for your team based on how I've elaborated on the SEPC. Obviously, that is my business model. And either way, I'll be back next week with another episode. So if you have questions or ideas you want to run by me, I would love to hear about them either through the Google form in my episode description, the email listed there, or you can also send me a voice note. And I'll be back next week with more tips, tricks, recommendations, ideas, inspiration, and philosophy about sustainability in events. Thanks for joining me on Sustainable Events Dog Walk. I'm Alicia Druby, founder of Positive Impact Event Consulting, and I want to help you integrate sustainability into your event business so you're ready to make every event you work on more sustainable. See you next time.